All right. So when last we left off, we had our data looking like this, and we have to clean this up a bit so that we can use it. So a couple things. What per capita income is, it's basically the entire expenditure of the population divided by the number of people. And so it's a measure of roughly how much money there is per person on average. So presumably, as the nation has more wealth, if population were the same, it would indicate some general improvement. It doesn't comment on what the actual income of people is, just a measure for how much income there is sort of per person. So a couple things. One, we don't need anything in current dollars. So we'll get rid of column C, delete column. And we don't need anything about population, so we can delete that column. And actually, we should insert a new column there, because we're going to have to mess around with these dates. There are all these footnotes that we don't need. Another thing you'll notice here is that there's some details on 2013. We're keeping this pretty simple, so we're not going to worry about what that problem is at all. So we'll just take the average of these two cells. That's this number. We'll copy it, and then we'll paste the value. Whoops. Paste special value only. And now we don't care about this. So now we'll get rid of one of these 2013s. So we're just cheating. We're sweeping lots of things under the rug. We're just not worrying that much. Part of this homework is for you to see how much we have to sweep under the rug just to come to an inconclusive end with lots of seemingly contradictory statements. This sort of stuff is difficult, but along the way, hopefully you'll see how many different answers you can arrive at. And of course, in the homework, we're going to see these side by side, but in a newspaper or blog post or whatever, you would just get one point of view. So whether that point of view is skewed or not skewed, or how well founded in facts, and which facts, well, that's what makes investigating difficult. In any case, we also don't need any of these headers, so we can get rid of these for now. Now here's what we need. Now these footnotes, again, they make it a little difficult to sort these numbers out. So we're going to use that left function. All right, this function extracts a certain amount of text starting from the left. I want to start with A1. I want to take the first 4 characters. That's the date. I double click this. It gives me just the years, and it forgets all these things in parentheses. A big part of what spreadsheets allow us to do is to handle lots of numbers quickly. You can imagine how tedious this would be to type out or retype or whatever. So now let's take this column, let's copy it, and remember to paste special values only. Now we don't need column B anymore. And now we can go ahead and sort. So I've clicked this little down arrow. I want to sort this sheet by A to Z. Now it gives us, we have more data here than we need to use. So we're actually going to get rid of everything before 1984. We're just keeping it really simple. We're just looking at a 20-year block of time. So here we have it. Let's, I'm going to insert one above, put some labels back in here. Here's the year, and then here's the per capita. That label will be handy later on. So now we have, let's make sure we don't have too much data. So yeah, a bit more down here. So we'll get rid of all of this business as well. Oh, good. So now we have the per capita income from 1984 to 2014. So great. What next? Let's go back to our homework here. So we've retrieved this data, so we don't need to have this in here anymore. Remember, I just copied and pasted this from the homework assignment into my hypothetical homework that I'm going to share a link with my instructor. So I'm just deleting these actually get them done. And this is what you can do too. Now I ask you to get some more data here. So let's follow this link. And what do I ask you to do? We're going to obtain the price of electricity per kilowatt hour, and we're going to choose one other commodity. So why are we doing this? Well, again, the question that we're answering is, has college become more expensive? And that question has two answers. One is, sure, everything's more expensive. But the question really is it harder to pay for it now than it used to be? We make more money now than we used to too. Do we make as much more money? Have we increased our income at the same rate that we've increased the price of college? So that's one comparison. Looking at these commodities, we're going to compare it to some objects that people consume. Now, everyone's going to use electricity, and then you get to choose something else, just for fun. I'm going to choose bread. That's a pretty common household purchase. And then we're going to retrieve data. Sorry about the coughing. Now, we're not out of the clear yet. This isn't the date range that I want. I want from 1984 to 2014. I just want to compare apples to apples, so to speak. And why not include some graphs? Then we click this little go. And then they retrieve both the graphs and the data for that product over that time period. So there's the graph. There's the other one. It's cyclical. So this can't be copied and pasted, as I found out by trial and error. So let's do this. This is the cost of bread. So I'm going to download. You can't quite see where it went here, but they give it kind of silly names. You'll want to look at part of it. It looks like a 893. Let's go back to my spreadsheet. I'm going to go File, Import, Upload, Select, and then I'm going to look for 893, this one. And I'm going to open it. I'm going to upload. I'm going to insert a new sheet, import data. So here we are. This is the price of bread. Now we don't really need most of this, so just going to delete a bunch of stuff. Now it gives us the price for every month during that time range. All we want is the annual average. So annual average. And to get that, we're just going to type equals average, open parentheses, and then click and drag those 12 months. Close parenthesis. There's the average. Double click that corner. Voila, you've just calculated 20 averages. Now let's go get the other data. Oops, let me rename this tab first. Rename bread. And let's see, the other one was electricity. So we'll go down to electricity. And we'll download that. And let's see, that's got a B73 in it. So now I'll upload, import, upload, select a file, B73, this one. And of course, if you select the wrong file, the nice thing about there being header material in the spreadsheet is that you can tell, oh yes, this is electricity, good. And then I'm going to head and delete that. Once again, it gives me the monthly prices, so I'm just going to compute an average, type average, open parentheses, drag and click and drag, close parentheses, there's the average, double click the lower right hand corner, and it populates the column. And I want to label the column annual average. Whoops. And then what did I say to name this? Oh, just electricity. So go down here, rename the tab electricity. All right, so I now have all of my data. And you'll want to keep all this. We're going to come back to this after this assignment. So let's see where we are. So we've gathered all of our data. And I think that's all I had originally covered in this video. So I'm going to go ahead and pause right here, and we'll pick up in the next video.